See Adam Keats are clapping away. How many of you remember a Super Bowl ad based on the 1985 Bears? The Super Bowl Shuffle. All right? A few people? Okay. So that got rejuvenated in last year's Super Bowl. Does anybody remember the ad with the 1985 Chicago Bears Super Bowl Shuffle? Anyone? All right, Adam does. Does anybody remember who the advertiser was who produced the ad and paid $3 million for each 30-second slot to put it up there? Anyone? Okay, so not one person remembers that. All right, let's look at the next slide. Who knows who this is? Anyone? Okay. Everybody knows Susan Boyle. And what's interesting is you didn't find out about Susan Boyle through an ad, or probably not through watching Britain's Got Talent. Most of us heard about her through social media or through word of mouth. We heard about it from a friend who said, you got to check out this lady, she's amazing, blah, blah, blah. You saw it on your Facebook feed, you saw it on Twitter, someone emailed it to you. That's how you heard about that. And when you think about just this example, okay, that here's a company, by the way, the advertiser behind the Super Bowl Shuffle was Boost Mobile. It was a Sprint prepaid mobile phone service. And I've asked that question many times in many different places, and I've only once found somebody who actually remembered who that was. And that was a multi-million-dollar investment to raise awareness around a product. Yet, we have stories like this, or one of my favorites, a company called Blendtec, which you probably know about from their famous YouTube videos, Will It Blend? Where they have a blender and they stick an iPhone in it and blend it and see if it'll blend. And the story is amazing. They spent $50 building their first, I think it was four or five videos. And that $50 included, buying the lab coat that the founder uses and the gadgets that he blended. And of those first 5 videos, they received, over the first year, about 90 million views on those videos. Now, what's interesting is the Super Bowl audience is what? It's about 80 million views. So here's a $50 investment from a company that created a really interesting story that people viewed because they were invited to view, not because it was an interruption. And their sales grew by 700% as a result of that. So what's interesting is now when we look at social, when we started this 3 or 4 years ago, it was, okay, these crises can erupt and all that. But now we can look at this and say, you know what, the social web actually has a bigger reach than TV. We can reach more people. Just look at the growth of Facebook and social networks. You can reach more people. The other thing is your messages can propagate more quickly and they last longer. The reason Susan Boyle got to so many people isn't because it was 30 seconds and if you weren't there you missed it. It actually spread and it grew and it communicated from one person to the other. So there's a permanence. There's a longer lifespan. And then here's the really critical one, is the social web's messages propagate through a network of trust. It came to you through someone you trust. And that changes everything because my propensity to believe or to even act on something goes way up when someone says, check this out, that I know and trust. And I remember as a kid, when I'd watch ads on TV and my dad would say, that's false advertising, if something wasn't true. Of course, you don't hear anybody say that anymore, right? Because we don't expect, the truth. We expect it to just be a story. And we kind of tune it out and we're just used to that. But now, with social, we expect things to come through us through our network of trust. And that makes it very powerful. So, this is obviously it's a huge game-changing thing for us, and I think everybody shares that. And we're really excited today to have amazing lineup of speakers. Of course, the company that I think represents this the best is Dell, who we're going to hear from this morning. Both Karen Quintos, Dell CMO, and Adam Brown are here. Adam's the Executive Director of Social Media, and we'll get to hear from them. And I think it's interesting watching Dell and being Dell's partner, how Dell went through this from a PR perspective to how it's now touching every part of their business. So I think I'm hugely looking forward to that, and I think everyone here will enjoy that. We also have some amazing unconference sessions. I'm just going to look at a few of my notes. Of course, the closing keynote, we have a huge powerhouse lineup for that. We have Bonham Bao, who's Global Director of Digital and Social Media with Pepsi. We also have Wendy Harmon, who's Social Media Director at American Red Cross. And of course, Isaiah will join them from the Old Spice Guy campaigns. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is if you need help, tweet, ask anyone with a blue t-shirt. They're all here to help. So I'm really excited about the lineup that we have for you today. Now, if you kind of watch a little bit of news about Radiant 6, you probably heard our news last week thank you, yeah. So we're excited about it. Radiant 6 and Salesforce have entered into a definitive agreement where essentially, Salesforce will be acquiring Radiant 6. So we're really excited. Thank you. The transaction closes in May, so we're not Salesforce yet, but I am personally so excited about this. I've been a fan of Salesforce since I remember hearing about Salesforce. To me, a lot of things actually that we built in Radiant 6 I modeled off of how Salesforce built their business in the early days. I mean, this is the company that pioneered software as a service and cloud computing. And not only that, but I remember in those days, the headwind of, will really enterprises take this seriously and be able to actually put their business software, their software, their data, their processes in the cloud, and the security and all that stuff, and overcame all of that. But not only that, but took it to a level where today we ask ourselves, why isn't all software built in the cloud? Like everything's moving to the cloud. So it's not only that it became, an acceptable way to do things, it became the best way to do things. So to me, it's just a huge accomplishment in what Salesforce has done. And Mark Benioff, Salesforce, talks about, there, I lost my audio for a second. Oh, okay. Talks about Cloud One and his vision in the early days of why isn't all software as easy to buy as a book on Amazon. He talked about how I need to make it easy and need to make it simple process and need to make it inexpensive. And so that's a great accomplishment. But what I love in terms of the vision that we share with Salesforce and where things are going now is what Mark talks about with Cloud 2. And he talks about Cloud 2 being social, mobile, and open. And for us, we see how, I just talked about how transformative we see social being. Salesforce also sees that, both in the enterprise and, with customers. And for us, one of the things that, if we could switch to the next slide, that I think about is the biggest thing when I think about Cloud 2 is that, yes, we've all put our business processes and our data and our systems in the cloud, and we're comfortable with that, and that's huge. But what's going on now is 100 times bigger. What's happening now is our customers have moved into the cloud. And when I look at this girl, I see this look on my daughter's face every day. She's got this phone in her hand. I called it the texting smile. And, she's tweeting or texting someone, and you see her face light up. And you look at that and you say, life is happening in that device, and life is happening in the cloud. And sometimes we look at that and we go, are all these devices, making us more social and human, and should we be outside running through the woods and things like that? But when you look at what's actually happening, right? Life is happening in the cloud. And so as businesses, our customers are now in the cloud. It's not just a place for our data and our processes, it is actually the medium. If I go back to Marshall McLuhan, the cloud is the medium, or the medium is the cloud. I don't know how he would say it, but it's now the communication medium. It's the place where customers talk to each other, where they talk about what they like, what they dislike, and all that, and it's where we as companies are going to engage, and it's where we're going to get our insights. So we're really excited about this with Salesforce. We have some cool things we're going to plan. Today, of course, I have some amazing product announcements, things we've been working on for the last few months. But if you want to hear more about what we'll be doing together with Salesforce, I'd like to invite you all to come see us at Dreamforce in San Francisco in August, where we'll have some exciting things to share with you more there about what we're going to be doing together. So thank you.